This year isn't about a trophy. This year isn't about a placing. This year is about proving to people that what they saw in 2022 was only a fraction of what I can be. 2024 is about the year of redemption. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the video. It is Thursday, June 20th, and we are 9 days out from the second show of the season. I'll be honest, I don't think that I have recorded much since the first show. It has been a very busy, crazy, hectic 3 weeks leading into this show, 3-4 weeks leading into this show, so I haven't really had a ton of time to pick up the camera. I've been editing the footage from Calgary still, I've been doing all that sort of stuff, so this I think is the first time that I'm picking up the camera, but there will be lots of videos coming, filming over the next week and a half here of peak week again, leading into the show day video number 2, so definitely keep an eye out for that. But in today's video, I wanted to go ahead and touch on some tips for the first time competitor. Now, obviously I am by no means an expert when it comes to competing, but I have done 3 going into my 4th show, so there are some things that I have picked up along doing those shows. So diving straight into things with number 1, the first tip is going to be all in. You have to realize that if you are taking on something such as a bodybuilding prep, you have to be all in. This is one of those stages throughout the year where there is going to be very little balance. You're not going to be able to go out with your friends and party, you're not going to be able to go out and eat all these off-plan meals, you're probably not going to want to go to events because you're going to have to make sure you're getting your step count in, you're going to want to make sure that you're getting your cardio in, you're going to want to stay on track with your nutrition, and then just as you get closer and closer towards the show, you're going to be leaner, you're going to be more tired, and you're really not going to feel like doing those things because you just don't have the energy to do it. So you have to come to the realization that that is how things are going to be during the span of that prep. There will be time for some more balance come the off season, but when you are taking on a bodybuilding prep, be all in. If you are not going to be 100% in, then it's really not worth doing it, because a bodybuilding prep is something that is very difficult, it is something that is very hard, and it is something that's very time consuming as well. It occupies your time 24/7. From the time I wake up until the time I go to bed, I am focused on that one goal, and that is being the best that I can when it comes to stepping on stage. So tip number 1 for the first time competitor is going to be all in on the process. But I'm absolutely starving, so I'm going to go ahead, eat this meal, and then I will catch you guys for tip number 2. Alright guys, we just rolled up to the gym. This is going to be the last back and hamstring workout of this entire prep, I guess. That's actually wild to think about. Nothing big like any deadlifts or anything. Pulled deadlifts at like 4 weeks out from the first show, so it's been like a good 7 weeks since I did deadlifts, just because it's a very high risk exercise, which isn't really worth having at this point in a prep. When I'm like 9 days out, I don't need to like tear a hamstring or anything like that. So a couple hamstring exercises, a couple back exercises, and then we are done. But not gonna lie, I feel pretty rough today. Pretty rough, and I mean, I guess that's how you're gonna feel at kind of 9 days out, so it just is what it is. We get the caffeine in there, we go in there, and we get shit done. There's no use bitching and complaining about it, because that's just what it is at 9 days out. There's no point in being like, oh, well, I need extra food, or I'm flat, or this or that, because that is what peak week is for, and that's what's gonna happen next week. But nevertheless, moving on to tip number 2 for the first time competitor. So tip number 2 is going to be give yourself enough time. This is something that I definitely made the mistake of in previous preps, or actually going into my first prep, was that I simply just didn't give myself enough time to get in shape, and that really just came down to me underestimating how much body fat I actually had to lose. Now, I even thought that I started this prep relatively lean. I started this prep at 206 pounds, whereas I ended my last off season at 225 pounds, so I was still like 19 pounds lighter at the end of this off season moving into this prep, and I was like, oh, maybe, you know, like 20-25 pounds. I've lost almost 40 pounds over the course of this prep. So if you think you have a certain amount to lose, add like 10 pounds onto that, and this is going to come down to you having enough time to diet, and that's something that's very, very important. And especially if you are a natural lifter like I am, we want to try to hold on to our strength the best that we can. We are going to have adaptations as we go throughout prep, so we want to make sure that we are leaving time in there for diet breaks, we are leaving time in there for refeeds, we are leaving time in there for deloads, all of these sorts of different tools. If we don't account for these in our total prep time, we're going to screw ourselves and end up on stage fatigued, out of shape, and just not ready. Like, this was a 22-week prep for me leading into the second show and 18 weeks leading into the first show, and I was still able to lose some more weight between those two shows because I felt like I had a little bit more to peel off after the first show. So my biggest tip is going to be make sure that you do leave yourself enough time to prep, which we can definitely dive into a little bit more in depth in another video. But that is going to be tip number 2 for the first time competitor, is give yourself enough time. But now that is done, I'm going to go ahead and knock back the rest of this pre-workout. We're going to get in there. We're going to crush this last back and hamstring session, and let's get it done.
Enemies close, have me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh, you matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, oh, you matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what, told you I'ma do me, why you hating on me?
Alright guys, that is going to conclude the last back and hamstring session of this prep. Absolutely wild to think about. Definitely was a tough workout, had to drag my ass through it a little bit, finish things off with a little bit of steps on the treadmill and then some posing as well, which actually brings me into tip number 3 for first time competitors, is practice your posing. This is something that I think is very, very important, and this was something that I did place a large emphasis on during my first prep in 2022, and I showed up having much better posing, I would say, in my opinion, than most people that were in my class. And that can sometimes make the difference between you being first or you being last, is how you are able to present your physique. You could be stripped to the bone, peeled, whatever it may be, but if you are not able to properly present your physique, it is going to affect your placing. And that was something that I wanted to improve even going into this competitive season, was practicing my posing. I will practice my posing 2 to 3 times a day as we get closer to the show. You know, the beginning of prep will probably be like twice a day, and then as we get closer to the end of prep, it will be multiple times a day that I am practicing that posing, going through my posing routine, going through my mandatories, going through my individual presentation, and my posing is even improved this year compared to where it was in 2022. So definitely make sure that you are putting in the time with your posing, whether that is hiring a posing coach, looking online at posing videos. There's lots of great free resources out there nowadays, such as Terrence Ruffin. You can go ahead and watch. He has some videos about posing, but really make sure that you do spend just as much time practicing your posing as you would doing your cardio, doing your training. It is something that is absolutely crucial for stepping on stage, so do not neglect your posing. As well, you want to make sure that you are building up your posing stamina. The last thing the judges want to see is you up there on stage hitting your pose and you're out of breath and your stomach breathing. It's just not a good look. So practice your posing stamina, and definitely make that a priority, especially for your first show. So that is going to be tip number 3. But I'm absolutely starving, so let's get home and make ourselves a post-workout meal. Okay guys, tip number 4 is going to be do as many classes as you can do. I think one of the benefits of being a first-time competitor is that there is many different classes that you do qualify to do. You have the novelty classes such as True Novice and Novice, where those don't give you any further qualification in the competitive stream. You have your height class that you can go ahead and compete in, and then you potentially have age classes as well, whether that is Masters, whether that is Junior. So I think that it is very important to go ahead and just do as many classes as you can do, because the more stage time you have, the better your stage presence is going to be. It's a very quick experience. Like when you were competing, things move a lot faster than you do think. So having that ability to go out there multiple times, having that ability to get more comfortable on stage, going through call-outs, different things like this, I think that there is a huge benefit in it. That is why in my first show I did True Novice, I did Novice, I did my height class. That's why this year I did a Junior class, because I think that it's important to get that stage time. So do as many categories as you can do. And if you're not sure which category you want to do between like classic, bodybuilding, men's physique, go ahead and just try them. It can get a little bit expensive is the only thing, but other than that, definitely go ahead and try them, because the more stage time that you have, the more comfortable you're going to get up there and the better it is going to be moving forward. So tip number 4 for the first time competitor is going to be do as many classes as you can do. Just enjoy the process, enjoy the experience while you are an amateur. So I'm gonna go ahead, eat this post-workout meal, and then I will catch you guys for the 5th and final tip. Alright guys, the 5th and final tip for the first-time competitor is going to be to enjoy it. I think that it's very easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle of show day. It's something that does go by very, very quickly. Like I said, you know, you're getting your tan, you're getting your glaze, you're trying to pump up, you're going out on stage, and it can be a very quick process, but I think that it's very, very important to sometimes just take that minute to breathe, relax, and enjoy the experience. I've gone through a couple of different shows where I've just gotten off stage, and the next day has come and it's felt like it's been an absolute blur, and I just did not take the time to enjoy it. So definitely make sure that you are taking the time to be present the day before. Enjoy going to registration, enjoy going to the athletes meeting. The work is done at this point, and I think that's the most important thing, is that, you know, the 16, the 20, the 24 weeks that you put in all of that grueling work, the hours of cardio, the hundreds of meals that you ate, the dozens of workouts, all of that is done. It is now time to just rest, relax, and enjoy the process. It is time to enjoy the day with your friends, with your family, for those who came to support you. At the end of the day, what happens on show day is out of your control. What the judges are looking for that day is out of your control. Where the judges place you is out of your control. Who shows up that day is out of your control. The only thing that you can control that day is the work that you put in the weeks leading into that to bring your best physique to the stage possible. So the work is done at this point. There is no point stressing out about things that are out of your control. So just take the time to enjoy it, take the time to be present, and soak it all in. You work months for one singular day. You're on stage for like a total of like maybe 5 minutes if you are lucky. So make sure that you are taking that time to soak it all in. Make sure that you are taking that time to enjoy it, because you have worked your ass off to get to this point. But guys, that is going to conclude my 5 tips for the first time competitor. Let me know in the comments below if there's any others that you have, if you've competed before, if you are getting ready to do your first show. Definitely go ahead and let me know in the comments below, because I would absolutely love to hear from you guys. But as always, if you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to drop a like on the video. I would greatly appreciate it. As well, if you guys are new around here, make sure to click that subscribe button, as well as hit the bell icon so that you are notified every time I upload a new video. Other than that, I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.